March 11, 1896, the Carroll Herald, Carroll, Iowa. Many odd remedies, man oil, ant spirits, and other curious things used. Those who use them firmly believe in their virtues. Drug clerks supply the demand by giving harmless substitutes and charging fancy prices. I want these filled with man oil. With this, the speaker, a raw-boned, stolid-looking Swede, handed a dirty 2-ounce vial across the counter of a Division Street drugstore to the clerk. Without saying a word or moving a muscle to indicate astonishment at this singular request, the clerk took the vial and disappeared behind the prescription case. In a moment he reappeared and, handing the vial back, remarked in an indifferent tone, 90 cents. Being asked to tell something about the traffic in the fat of human beings, the clerk grinned. I gave the fellow 2 ounces of simple surate and charged a fancy price to impress him with the genuineness of the man fat, said he. I see no harm in the deception. The fellow has unbounded faith in the virtues of man oil, and he wouldn't be happy until he believed he had some. If I didn't sell him some, he would find a druggist who would. The simple surate will do him just as much good as man oil. We often have calls for remedies as absurd as this. We always fill them out of the simple surate bottle if it be an oil, or some other harmless drug if it be something else. Investigation disclosed the fact that the various portions of the city have their peculiarities and beliefs as to the efficacy of various unusual remedies. In the Swedish settlements, man oil is believed to have marvelous virtues in aches and pains when applied externally. Over in the Stockyards region and in the southwest portion of the city, dog's grease is held in high repute as a specific for consumption. The men in charge at the dog pound declare a great many of the dogs that come to an untimely end in the death chamber there are converted into a superior article of cod liver oil for the use of consumptives. They declare that a number of doctors regularly visit the pound and select nice, fat dogs, which are slaughtered by the attendants to be rendered into oil for the alleged physician's patients. Not only this, but the patients themselves often send relatives or friends to the pound to get dogs for this purpose. Usually, the attendants kill and dress the dogs, receiving a small fee for their trouble. Sometimes the dogs are taken away to be killed. One dealer said he usually got from half a gallon to a gallon of oil from a dog, that the grease resembled lard oil in appearance, that the oil had no disagreeable odor if the dog was young, that the dose was a tablespoonful 3 times a day. An interesting feature brought out was that after a person had once used dog's grease, other remedies would have no effect whatever on him. Out on Milwaukee Avenue, rainworm oil and ant spirits are held in high repute. The druggists have frequent calls for these remedies, and they always fill the prescriptions, the former out of the olive oil bottle and the latter with alcohol slightly colored. The Germans believe both remedies are valuable for external use for all sorts of aches and pains, including rheumatism. The ant spirits are also taken internally. In a standard German pharmacopoeia, Dr. H. Hager, in the edition for 1876, gives a formula for making the ant spirits. Directions given are to take 10 parts of ants to 2 parts of alcohol. The ingredients are to be rubbed in a mortar and left to stand for 2 days. The resulting colorless liquid is then ready for use for rheumatism, paralysis, and the like. Snake oil is regularly quoted in some drug price lists. A man named Schaub at Cairo, Illinois, is engaged in its manufacture. John Jones of Phoenix, A.T., devotes his entire time to the manufacture of rattlesnake oil, for which he gets $4 a pound, the purchaser to pay express charges. Snake oil is reputed to be valuable for rheumatism. He comes to the city occasionally to work up trade. Skunk oil is in considerable demand also for rheumatism. The skunk oil is obtained from the skunk farms, where the animals are bred for their skins. Belief in these remedies is often found among American-born people. In all parts of the city, there is a good trade in love powders, the purchasers usually being of the servant girl class. "When a girl comes in after love powders," said a drug clerk on North State Street, who often has occasion to fill such orders, "I give her a little sugar of milk, which is absolutely innocuous if she wants it for herself, and tell her to take 2 doses a day. If she wants it for her fellow, she usually asks for the magic drug in the shape of candy. In that case, I give her some warm lozenges. The drugs must give satisfaction, for the orders are frequently refilled." Chicago Tribune. April 11, 1889, Indianan Republican, Warsaw, Indiana. Milking whales for consumptives. In London recently, my attention was attracted by a huge sign on the opposite side of the street and by the number of people flocking into the building. The sign read as follows: "Whaloid, infallible cure for consumption. Dispensing hours 8 to 10 a.m., 3 to 5 p.m. Entering the building, I was at a loss what to make of the matter, as all I could see was the crowd and a large tank in the center of the room. This tank was some 70 feet long, 30 feet wide, and, as I learned afterward, about 30 feet deep, having been constructed at a great expense. While waiting patiently for developments, I found that the liquid was being lowered or let out by some means. Soon, a smooth black surface appeared to view, and as the water continued to recede, I became aware that a captive whale was on exhibition. Surprised at not having to pay any admission fee, I was soon made aware of the reason. A framework had been constructed on which the animal rested, and soon an expert milkman was engaged in extracting for the consumptives whaloid or whale's milk, which was greedily absorbed at 5 shillings per glass. This plan seems to be identical with that of the milkmen of Naples, who lead a cow to the door and deliver the fluid in the presence of the consumer, so that the latter can be satisfied that no illegal dilution is indulged in. I hardly recovered from my surprise at this unique idea of getting nature's own emulsions when I was to encounter a severer shock. Joining the throng who were leaving, I found myself drifting further down the street towards Southampton Row. The place of attraction proved to be, however, a smaller building, also labeled in a mysterious manner, Codloids, authorized agency protected by letters patent, supplied to subscribers only, specific for rheumatism and consumption. Now, what do you think codloids proved to be? Why, eggs of the codfish, and wonderfully large ones too. They were retailed at 2 shillings per egg and eaten raw with a little sodium chloride, which in plain English means salt. Druggist's Bulletin.